Good evening, fight fans. It is time for the Iman Report. It is Saturday night, September 12, 2020. Hope everybody's having an awesome night. In the main event tonight, this was a barn burner. This got fight of the night honors. Michelle Karate Hottie Watterson beats Angela Hill. This could be considered a robbery. Split decision. Two judges had it for Watterson, one 49-46, the other 48-47. One had it 48-47 for Angela Hill. This was a very close fight. This could be very debatable. That this fight is also very debatable that Angela Hill won the fight. So yeah, I think, do we see a rematch? Time will tell. But Angela Hill seems to always get the short end of the stick with the always tends to get the short end of the stick, unfortunately, with the judges. Watterson snaps a 2-fight losing streak. And she also got robbed in her last fight against Claudia Gadelha. But Hill, a very entertaining fighter. She is the woman's version of Donald Cerrone. Anytime, any place, anywhere. We'll probably see her on the back in the octagon sooner than later. Try to get back on track. As for Michelle Watterson, yeah, she got the win, but she's lost to every fight, almost every fighter ranked above her. She's lost to Carla Esparza. She's lost to Joanna. She's lost to Ticia Torres. She's lost to Rose Namajunas. I suppose you could put her up next against Claudia Gadelha. Yeah, she hasn't fought Claudia Gadelha. I want to see first if Gadelha is booked or not. Maybe the winner of Jan Xiaonin and Jan Xiaonin and Claudia Gadelha, the winner of that fight, I think should fight the Karate Hottie. I don't ever see Karate Hottie winning a title at 115. If they had a 105 straw weight division, or 105 atom weight division, I think Watterson would be champion. But she's still a very serviceable gatekeeper at 115. So that's what I'm going to go with. As for Angela Hill, she shouldn't take too much of a step down in her next fight. When does Marina Rodriguez fight? I think that's maybe Verna Jandiroba should be next for Angela Hill. No, maybe not Jandiroba. She's coming off. I'm going to try to put her against a loot. Well, Mackenzie Dern. I think I can go with that one. I think for next, Angela Hill should fight Mackenzie Dern. See if Mackenzie Dern's actually a contender in the 115 division. We'll go with that. In the co-main event, this was your knockout of the night. Otman Azetar knocks out Karma Worthy in the first round. Worthy contested it, but it was clear Azetar did the job. Azetar will likely see a big step up in competition from that win. He's going to pocket 50 G's for that knockout. He is definitely a bright prospect at 155. But for Bulldozer, 13-0 in MMA. I certainly think for him, and I think his next fight should be against an experienced fighter. Oh, here we go. I think maybe we put Azetar against another undefeated fighter in Mark O. Madsen, the Olympian, 10-0 in the 10-0 in his MMA career. I think Mark O, the Olympian Madsen versus Azetar, this could separate the men from the boys as in terms of contender. As for Karma Worthy, he just got his bell rung against a very good opponent. Worthy is still a very good fighter. So he won't get penalized too much. But I think for him, next to fight should be against Christos Giagos. Fight before that, Roxanne Modafferi beats Andrea Lee via unanimous decision, 29-28. All three judges had it. As for what should be next for Roxanne Modafferi, still a serviceable gatekeeper at 125. I suppose you could give her the winner of Lauren Murphy, and I suppose you can give her the winner of Cynthia Cal. Oh, wait a minute, I think Modafferi's fought Calvillo already. Okay, she hasn't. She has fought Murphy, so yeah, that strike that one. But maybe Joanne Calderwood. I think that, even though that's kind of a winner versus loser, I think this one makes sense. Calderwood may be more of a fluke than a contender. So I think Modafferi could be the person that fits the bill for Joanne Calderwood. Make sure they haven't fought each other. No, they haven't. So I'm going to go with Joanne Calderwood versus Roxanne Modafferi. That should be next. Andrea Lee taking the loss in this one. This is her third loss in a row. So she likely either is going to get a fighter that is near the cut line, or it wouldn't be a total shock if Andrea Lee is cut. Andrea Lee's 3 losses, since they're not knockouts, I think chances are she's going to get one more chance. It'll be against another fighter that is in jeopardy of being cut. So I think Andrea Lee's next fight will be someone in a loser leaves town. In a controversial win for Ed Herman, submits Mike Rodriguez via submission. Mike Rodriguez nearly finished Ed Herman in the second round, but the judges were snoozing on that one, so this one was a very controversial decision. As for what could be next for Ed Herman not exactly happy with his performance tonight, but he is riding a 3-fight winning streak going on in the UFC, so he will likely fight again. He is always a serviceable gatekeeper at 205 pounds. Very serviceable, very good for his age at 39. I think for him, a fight with Devin Clark would be a good gatekeeper fight for Ed Herman. Devin Clark, a very good prospect, knocking on the doors of a top 15 ranking. I think if he gets past Herman, we could grant him entry into the top 15 ranking. So I think Devin Clark would be a good fit for Ed Herman. As for Mike Rodriguez, he didn't exactly lose this fight per se. For him, I think he's actually going to get rewarded in a losing effort. He showed he can fight very good. He can hang with the experienced fighters. So I do actually think that Mike Rodriguez will actually get rewarded with a small step up in competition. I think a guy that could be the next opponent for Mike Rodriguez is another veteran fighter, Ovint St. Preux. Rodriguez versus St. Preux could be a very exciting fight. So that's what I think should be next for Mike Rodriguez. In the fight before that, Bobby Green beats Alan Patrick via unanimous decision. Bobby Green winning 3 fights in a row since coming back from retirement. This is probably his best win, beating Alan Patrick. As for Alan Patrick, this was a fighter who, for the longest time, had a bright future in the UFC. This is the first time in his UFC career where he has lost 2 fights in a row. As for Patrick, it's probably going to be back to the drawing board for Alan Patrick. Surprisingly, he's been in the UFC for 7 years. He's had a lot of injuries, unfortunately. So maybe the shine is starting to wear off on him. As for Bobby Green, who should be next for Bobby Green? I say Narsat Hakparast should be next for Bobby Green. That could be a very entertaining fight. Oh, I forgot to. I omitted Karma Worthy. Karma Worthy's next fight. Oh yeah, I put him with Giagos. I forgot that. As for Alan Patrick, for Alan Patrick, he's certainly, I think at this point, he is a gatekeeper. I don't view him anymore as a prospect. I say for him, his next fight should be against Austin Hubbard. I think Austin Hubbard could be a bounce bounce back fight for Austin Hubbard. And the first fight on the main card tonight, Billy Quarantillo knocks out Kyle Nelson. Quarantillo really starting to look like a bona fide contender at 145. Now is 3-0 in the UFC. I am expecting a big jump in competition for Billy Quarantillo after this win. I think it's time to put Quarantillo in the octagon against a more experienced fighter. Currently ranked 107 by Tapology. I think for him, I think next fight for him should actually be. I wouldn't mind seeing Quarantillo go up against Gavin Tucker. That would be a really entertaining fight. As for Kyle Nelson, back to the drawing board for Nelson. 1-3 in his last 4 fights. I suppose you could put him up against Chase Hooper. In the prelim card, Sijara Eubanks defeats Julia Avila. What's next for Eubanks? I think Panny Key and Zod should be next for Eubanks. As for Avila, I guess she's scheduled against Nico Montano next. So there we go. So next for her is Nico Montano. Fight before that, Kevin Kroom beats Roosevelt Roberts by submission. Roberts dropping his second fight in a row against a debutante. For Roberts, I think a debutante should be next for him. Get him a win. Maybe also a little bit of a break. Roberts has been fighting quite a bit as of late, so maybe a little bit of a break, then give him a debutante or some other prospect. As for Kevin Kroom, ranked 102 according to Tapology. Maybe put him up against Charles Rosa. That should be next. I'll go with that. Alexander Roganov beats Rock Martinez via submission. These are a couple prospects. I'm not going to. It's going to take me a while from it. Jalen Turner beats Brock Weaver. Now Jalen Turner is 3-2 in the UFC. Finally gets back-to-back wins for the first time. Right now, ranked 88 in the rankings. According to Tapology. So what should be next for Jalen Turner? Is he still in the promotion? Okay, yeah. His next fight should be against Claudio Puelles. That's what makes a lot of sense there. As for Brock Weaver, I think he's likely getting cut after this fight. Weaver has lost. And Weaver 1 and 2 in the UFC. Both of them losses by submission, not exactly great. And his only win is by disqualification. So I kind of think Brock Weaver is in jeopardy of being cut. Brian Barberena saves his job tonight by defeating Anthony Ivy via unanimous decision. What's next for Bam Bam? Have they ever fought? No, they haven't. And this would be I think this would be a very entertaining fight of veterans. These two have never fought in the octagon. Tim Means. Why not put Brian Barberena against Tim Means? This would be a very fun fight of long in the tooth fighters. So why not? They're never going to contend. So this would be a very fun, entertaining, low-level fight. Anthony Ivy will likely get a debutante next. Sabrina Mazo submits Justine Kish. What is next for Sabrina Mazo? Sabina Mazo. I see Marina Moros should be next for Sabina Mazo. And as for Justine Kish, the loser of Kashera and Casey. All right. Next week next week will be another fight night card. This one's I think the shine kind of wore off on this fight with Colby Covington going up against Tyron Woodley. Woodley fallen on hard times in his last two fights, getting dominated by both Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns. This might be Woodley's last fight to be relevant in the top five at welterweight. And of course, Colby Covington, finally getting away from just being a boring fighter who talks a lot of shit. Now he can finally strike with power. I was hoping we would see Covington versus Masvidal, but now we have to settle for this. This could be entertaining, I suppose. But I feel like the decline of Woodley is not good. The co-main event, Donald Cerrone against Nico Price. This should be a very good fight. We got Johnny Walker going up against Ryan Spann, a couple of prospects. Mackenzie Dern fighting Randa Marcos. So this one is a very decent fight card. This one will be the last one at the Apex before they head to Fight Island. Where they head to Fight Island on birthday week, on the weekend of my birthday, for UFC 253. This one should be a very good one. Israel Adesanya versus Paula Costa Borrachina, with Dominic Reyes against Jan Blachowicz as the co-main event. So everybody enjoy these fights. I will be back on air tomorrow to recap NFL. That's right, NFL is back tomorrow. I am probably going to go to bed after I do laundry and vacuum. So everybody have a good night. Watch football tomorrow. Stay home. Watch football. I just hope we have a good season of football. Very few COVID cases. Sports is back, my friend. Good night.